So here's a problem that is likely going to show up. The network is not as fast as your computer is, which means there is a distinct possibility that the bomb will blow up a step or two later on everyone else's screen than it will on my screen. How do I deal with that? So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a rule for this. So this is called a synchronization issue. That you may have seen this before if you've ever played other LAN games where suddenly magically a guy warps out of it to a different spot on the screen, and that's because suddenly his network connection has started working again or turned on or whatever it is. And what's going on is that's a moment of synchronization where the game basically double checks the timing and goes, oh, you're in the wrong spot, and basically tells everybody that and just puts them where they're supposed to be. So the decision I'm going to make in my game is that if I die on my screen, that's the only time I'm ever going to die. So if I run into an explosion on my screen, then I'm dead. It doesn't matter if I get hit by explosions in everyone else's view and they're like, hey, you should have died. That doesn't work. And what that'll do is, that'll mean that I basically have to tell other people when I've died. So I can't just depend on this screen shows that I've died, but I may be alive in 2 other screens. I've got to make sure that it all matches up. So I probably should put in the explosion to, I'm just going to do one part of the explosion for now, and we'll get back to explosions later. But then I'm going to do this synchronization thing. So let me create a quick sprite for this. Let me see, is there an explosion in another game? Sure, here's an explosion. Okay, so there's an explosion sprite. I'm going to create an object. Explosion object. It has that sprite. And for now, I'm just going to create one exactly where the bomb is, which is kind of lame because you'd have to be exactly on top of them. Eventually, I'm going to make it so it fires off in different directions. Instance create at my x and y an explosion object. So I'm actually going to create that in the bomb1 clone and bomb1. However, clones are going to be able to run through it with no problem whatsoever, because they're allowed to do that. Okay, so if player 1, however, has a collision with an explosion, he's going to die. However, I need to be able to tell the other people that they need to kill themselves as well. Once again, I'm going to write that to the network. So I'm going to have P1 dead. It starts at a 0, and basically all the clones are going to be listening. If player 1 dead ever becomes something other than 0, they're like, oh, I should die too, and they will die. So player 1, he collides with the explosion. He's like, oh, mplay data write P1 dead. I'm just going to change it to another value, a 1, for example. And then instance destroy. Or if you really want to, you could create an animation of him dying in grim and grisly ways. I don't know how that happens with a Pac-Man ghost, but whatever. Something. So he writes that out to the network, and now the clones are like, wait, I died? I should check that. So if mplay data read P1 dead is a 1, die. Oh, I should actually create the executable. That will be faster. Create executable. Desktop, save. Yes. By the way, have you noticed how slow this is to test? It's kind of slow. You'll get there. Host. Join. Any day now. Thank you. All right. Bomb. Kaboom! And I died in both screens. This is a problem. Let's fix that. Explosion. When your animation ends, go away. So just to make sure that worked. I'm on the LAN. Yay. I'm on the LAN. Host. Join. Do 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 do. Do do do. Do. Run over here so I can see it on both screens. Lamb. Outstanding. All right, so there's bomb, a bomb for one player. So there's a lot of stuff I ended up having to add into player one for creating it in the spacebar, colliding with the explosion, and then this player one dead thing. The bombs are basically setting alarms, and then the player one's bomb that's actually in his screen needs to do some network variable stuff. When player one has a clone bomb, he has to set an alarm and destroy himself. The clone of the player, in his step event, it got a little more complicated. So he's got to be checking for things out on the network that might apply to him. That includes whether or not he's supposed to be creating a bomb, and also whether or not he's dead. Very important. By the way, I want to check something out real quick. Host. Yes, yes. Create a game. Join. Wait, 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 wait. All right. Awesome. And it still works. That's cool. All right. So that gets you started on creating bombs, and I think there's plenty of work to do for that today. If you make sure that all the players have that, make sure all the bombs work, make sure that player 4 doesn't place a bomb and then shows up on player 3, all that kind of stuff.